Judge Jeanine's show is being canceled.
Want to bring in Judge Jeanine Pirro?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why. She was on somebody else's show. Very telling. This is called Hunter Biden Investigatio. I'm kidding. It's Judge Jeanine. Everything Hunter Biden did is dirty.
The Five, host of the new Fox Nation series, Who is Hunter Biden?
Wait. Host of the new show what?
Want to bring in Judge Jeanine Pirro, co-host of The Five, host of the new Fox Nation series, Who is?
Oh, they gave her, they took her show off the air, gave her a shitty Fox Nation show to funnel money to her so she doesn't get pissed off, and then made her one of the 5 part of the week. I mean, she's... Next stop, Trump Media Group.
Hunter Biden, hello to you.
Good morning.
Who is Hunter Biden? What have you found out?
You know what? He's an enigma. He is both an open book as well as a puzzle. But
Just like Bill Hemmer.
to tell you, that segment that you just played is indicative of how the government is slow walking everything that they're doing with Hunter Biden. We already know that the State Department, based on our experience with Hillary Clinton trying to get records and freedom of information,
Which, after they got it all, didn't turn out to be anything.
the State Department has always dragged its feet, almost as though it's an
Oh, it's weird. And yet we have all this Trump stuff almost immediately. It's not like it's taken 3 fucking years.
segment of the government, a unit. And so for them to say, we're going to take 2 years and we'll give you this stuff, i.e. let's get past the midterms,
Right.
when the statute requires 20 days, do it. And they're not doing it. They're not worried about it. But the whole issue now, we're talking about Romania. Now, we've heard about Ukraine.
Correct.
We've heard about Russia.
China.
Now China, $31 million to the Biden family from China.
No.
All connected to Chinese intelligence and many of the CCP. But
And weird, you would think that if that were true, then Biden wouldn't put together the AUKUS agreement or re-stand up the Quad or say, yes, we'll retaliate if you attack Taiwan, or ask Japan to join the AUKUS, or share in military exercises around Taiwan. It's weird. They've got all that leverage on him, and none of it's working.
now what we've got is what's going on
It could be bullshit.
in Romania. So we've got this tycoon who's convicted of corruption. He hires Louis Freeh. Louis Freeh gives Joe Biden's grandchildren $100,000. Now you want to say, why would you give someone $100,000 and made sure that it was on record for future work? Why give $100,000 if you're seeking to get money from an employer? Did you already get money, and are you taking some of that money and funneling it through a trust fund?
Well, I'm glad we don't have just a series of aimless questions. I'm glad we have answers here.
Or is this an agreement where, you expect to get huge amounts of money, you don't want to pay for it, so or you don't want to identify it, so you give it to them? This is dirt. It's very...
Yes, he gave this $100,000 in the open to someone else's kids. I don't know what she's referencing, but in theory, you gave it to that as a tax scam.
dirty. But everything that Hunter Biden did is dirty.
Well, it's certainly some of the stuff he did in hotels.
DOJ has been investigating him since 2018.
Gee, who was president in 2018?
X probe since 2020.
Who else was president in 2020? It's the same person. Oh, yeah.
Now we've got the New York Times going after him. Everything this guy did, and in this documentary that I host, you see a man whose life was tragic in the beginning. His mother and I believe his sister died when he
Yeah, well, you would know. You did the documentary.
too. His father had just been elected to Congress, and he grew up being raised by his grandmother. But when his father became vice president, Hunter Biden learned how to parlay that father, and he leveraged him for all kinds of money. And then
Oh, you mean he was able to make money on the strength of the Biden name alone? Why didn't that work for the Trumps? Weird. I can't figure it out.
hear about him using that money to pay the Biden family's bills. But when
Well, no, he had to give half of his money when he was cracked out for them to keep for him.
he went into the addiction of alcohol and crack cocaine, he got involved with all kinds of dirty characters. And at one point in the laptop that we all know was discovered in 2019
No, we don't. There is no laptop. That's all bullshit.
or dropped off at
A blind repair shop dealer's thing, or according to Don Jr., it was stolen by the Russian mob.
repair shop. He says he worries that the Russians have a copy of one of his laptops that have some of his porn stuff on it, and that they could use it to blackmail him. He's saying this on his own computer.
You mean the fake computer?
In addition to this, what we have is his debauchery is just horrible. He's sleeping with his brother Beau's wife. Clips. And then we now know that he was doing drugs with her, that he was filming all kinds of debauchery.
Again, filming yourself having sex? Like, has she seen the Pam and Tommy movie that's just come out?
Disgusting stuff.
Right, which is none of my business, has nothing to do with policy. I don't give a shit. And since everybody knows about it, you can't be blackmailed with it.
He is a disgusting human being.
Yeah, he's a disgusting human being. I mean, his mother was killed in the car when he was a little kid, and he had drug problems. And during the time he was on drugs, he was acting in all kinds of untoward way. But he's not a good, upstanding man like Mike Pirro.
Anyone else would be in jail with.
No, there's lots of people who have drug problems who are engaged in a lot of stuff who didn't end up going to jail.
Without a doubt.
Well,
and by the way, is the goal that they should.
You can watch it now. Who is Hunter Biden? Available on Fox Nation now.
Yeah, nobody's going to.
See you tonight on the 5.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Hi, when Brian.
Oh, God. That's it? That's what we get is basically just an ad for that fucking thing? And that's the quote. Judge Jeanine, everything Hunter Biden did is dirty. Ew. It's so gross. He did the thing and he was like, he put his parts in another person and he was doing dirty part things. And then what if people found out about it, they could use that as leverage against his dad, even though our people already knew about it? It didn't ultimately matter. If this stuff ever comes out, like pictures of him in bed with hookers and smoking crack, they're gonna threaten his dad with all this stuff, and oh, it's already come out. Oh, and they didn't get anything for it. Oh, well, arguably you could say that if there was a blackmail threat, the amount of stuff that's come out through Fox News and other people about Hunter Biden making him look like shit, you could argue that Biden just said, fuck you, release it. I'm not doing anything. Because the sheer fact that this information is out there, or leaked through people like Rudy Giuliani, is the conduit by which you would use it to embarrass someone and pressure them. If you don't do this, I'll release this stuff. Well, it's out. So clearly, if there was any kind of expectation of quid pro quo about not revealing this stuff, quid no quo in this particular case, I suppose, then, yeah, then Biden told whoever it was to go fuck themselves. Does that make sense? Right? I mean, it's out, and it's not affecting Chinese or Ukrainian policy. We're helping Ukraine against Russia. We're helping Taiwan against China. Yeah, exactly. You can't blackmail somebody who doesn't give a shit. That Donald Epstein victim must be talking right. Funny how the laptop is talked about but never given to competent authorities to validate. Yeah, isn't that funny, Connie? You never see it. Never see the fucking thing. Now, I'm tempted to watch this thing on my own or put it on the show and review it, but I'd have to sign up for Fox Nation. Ugh. And do the whole thing just because I want to see if they have a picture of it. I have yet to see anybody give photographic evidence of even the physical thing, much less the metadata that proves that any of it is legit. They never do that. Rudy won't do it. They hold up paper. Who the fuck, look, I have, this, trust me, this is an email from Rudy Giuliani's laptop. I can't show you the part of it, but you just have to trust me if you want to freeze frame on that. Sure, it says Peter Murphy cuts you up as a, and it's the lyrics to that, but I found this on Rudy Giuliani's laptop, and I'm willing to give this to the authorities. I won't give them the hard drive that I downloaded off of, but I will give them this paper copy of an email that I found on there that has to be real. I'm crinkling it. we showed these things, and this is all. I mean, what more evidence could you possibly need? Metadata. The contents are not even on the dark web. I have Tor browser and I've been looking. Yeah, that's the other thing is like, why wouldn't you, if you really thought this was crucial to the election and you're Rudy Giuliani and you're 4 days out and the Post won't print shit, you know, like they're not getting enough of it out there and Twitter won't let you do it, why wouldn't you dump the entire contents online on a website? Honestly, you could house a website anywhere on earth for peanuts and you could post it like a searchable like a database of everything on that fucking hard drive. Why not? Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, if the world matters, if the country matters, if you think the country's going to go to hell if Biden, the crime family, gets in control, right? Oh, thanks 15909. I appreciate that. Yes, think about becoming a patron and all that, and I will improve the road gear. Especially at the house. I mean, this computer is, how old is this one? This one's long in the tooth. About this Mac. This is what am I doing this show on? It'll bring it up in a second. About this Mac. Yeah, there it is. This is a 2013 iMac. Yeah. Running Catalina because it can't run anything. I can't update the software past Catalina. So yes, support would be great. Thank you very much. Become a patron. Help us improve the computer here. That would be a great step forward. Yeah. To the point where I could actually set this thing up so that we wouldn't, because I'm going to be here more and more as things start opening up again, obviously. But it would be nice to have access to all the regular stuff that I have to do to the show, and there you go. If it's fine, then don't. Then you can just enjoy the show as it is. Thank you, Philip. I mean, Keith doesn't sound nice. He says blank in the 30s. Of course, Giuliani got a GRU SVR drop. No question. There's I mean, that's really Bannon calls it the hard drive from hell instead of the laptop from hell. Everybody's lying about this fucking thing, and we're never going to see the real thing. It's all nonsense. And by the way, Rudy Giuliani, if anybody gets this to him, he's got bigger fish to fry right now because he's completely fucked. I'm calling you out. Show me the laptop. Show it. There's no excuse. He has it. There is no excuse to not have it on camera, even just sitting behind there with like an arrow pointing to it. Hunter Biden's laptop sitting in his office. Why wouldn't you? In this particular situation, as serious the governance of the United States of America is on the line, you truly believe that the Biden crime family is the worst thing that could possibly happen, right? You really believe this shit, allegedly, and you've got this laptop. Why wouldn't you literally post the entire contents in a searchable database online? It's not like you don't know some Macedonian hackers who would do it for you. Right? It makes no sense to me. Because you're goddamn right. If I had access to Don Jr.'s laptop and it had gnarly shit like that on it, and I was like, this is my one last chance to make sure Trump isn't in office, and I've got this thing, and I've sent it to the FBI, and they're not doing shit about it because he runs the place, and I'm not getting any, any leverage on the state and local level from the police because they're too afraid to do it. And I really believed he was a criminal, engaged in criminal activities, and I believed that the contents that I found on this laptop are genuine. You bet your ass it would be on camera every day. I'd be wagging that fucker around. Here it is. This is it. I will send you a little link up, and I'll let you download the entire contents of this to look through it. This is singularly the real thing, right? There is no laptop. It does not exist. It is now and has always been bullshit. They used it and made up that version of the hard drive that Rudy got in Ukraine, that he paid $5 million for, that they were shopping around for $3 million. He used that as the, and they created this preposterous nonsense about the laptop because he'd had a laptop probably back in the day he'd lost track of, and the Russians had stole it or something, and he knew they'd stolen one, so he's like, fuck, if they, and then they just made up the whole, like, if they found out what's on that, I'd be in deep shit. And then they just went, we have his old laptop, we can just say we've got it. Yeah, do a searchable database of the whole fucking thing. Sorry, it doesn't exist. Always is and has always been bullshit. Because, like I said, if you truly believed any of the things that Rudy Giuliani said about that one and the about the laptop itself and the importance of keeping the Bidens out and the crime family bully, if you believed any of that nonsense, any of it, you would, of course, release a full... I mean, the fucking... When Parler got hacked, they just released everything. The hackers broke into it. They took it and they went, I'm not stealing this stuff. I want you guys to know what's on there. There's a fucking, 70 terabytes of searchable stuff from that hack that you can look at because Parler's a dump. It's got Craigslist level security. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, seriously, that you honestly think the election hangs on this. I can't stress that enough, that in his heart and in his head, if he genuinely believed everything he says about Hunter and about Joe Biden, why would you not release that thing? Even afterwards, when you thought, oh my God, they stole the election. Holy shit. People need to know who stole the election, right? You would definitely do it after the election, right? If you believe that shit. You believe all this shit, and you believe that the election was stolen by people who you think are horrible criminals. Why wouldn't you release it then? It makes no sense. So, it's this is like, it's like a stupid talking point at this point. We've been through it so many goddamn times. And at this point, it's lazy